All right, I've got on the hour. Welcome to tonight's Facebook Live on teaching multiplication facts remotely. Y'all, my hat is off to you. I have lots of teacher friends that are in the midst of the craziness right now. I totally get it if you're not tuned in tonight because you're just trying to catch up on all the things that are happening. But I hope that maybe tonight I can share a few things that I've learned with remote learning, and specifically some things with multiplication facts and how we can help our students learn those facts, but also talk a little bit about remote learning at the same time. So tonight I'm going to share two main things with you. One that is really low tech and a little bit of an old hat that we've maybe talked about before, and then a brand new, we're debuting it tonight, brand new techie thing for the second half of today. Even if you're not really interested in learning a new techie thing, I get it. There's lots of new tech floating around right now. Join in anyway and just see how you like sort of the way that we've kind of created this thing tonight. So very first, we're going to start off with a low-tech solution and helping our students learn the multiplication facts. Like, what can we do to help them really reason about multiplication facts? Because you might know that my byline, my shtick, my motto is math is figure-outable. And so I also want the multiplication facts to be figure-outable. All too often, we treat the multiplication facts like they are rote memorizable and the kids have to go rote memorize them. Do I want kids to know their facts? Absolutely. But I don't want them to get there by memorizing a song or a rap or a rhyme or a picture or some cute cartoon or whatever. That's fake math. Instead, I want them to use relationships and connections to figure those facts a lot so that the facts become sort of at their fingertips. They become kind of automatic. And then if they ever can't think of one, they have great strategies and relationships that they can refigure them. But even more importantly, because they've been figuring them multiplicatively, they are also learning to think and reason multiplicatively. And now we have more success in higher math. So 2 things tonight. We're going to share a low-tech help and then a higher-tech help. All right, so you may have heard me before talk about this low-tech solution to helping students practice their multiplication facts. Here's what you need to make this low-tech thing happen. So I am going to give you the download link in a few minutes where you can download this handy-dandy game board. You can have your students print it off. They can really just draw this game board. It's not that bad. So I've got a bunch of strategic numbers in the grid here, and then I have factors. Whoa, wrong side. Factors 1 through 9. In fact, I'm just going to glance and make sure. Okay, hopefully we are not reversed. Anybody in the comments tell me, can you read these numbers, or are they like flip? Sometimes I flip my camera and I'm never quite sure. This is my new favorite checker out. Oh, cool. Well, thanks, Amy. I appreciate that. I like being somebody's favorite. That makes me happy tonight. But I am hoping somebody will tell me. Can you read the number? Are they reversed? Somebody tell me there's a little bit of a delay. Oh, and now my camera's going crazy. Oh, it's okay. Good. All right. Thanks. I appreciate that. Hey, and I have this cool thing that I'm using tonight. Watch this. Whoa, look how cool. Thanks, Jan. Appreciate that. All is well, says Susan. Okay, so I'll stop playing with the tech. And I'll try to get my camera to focus. Okay, so really low tech, what you need is this sort of game board. And then you need a couple of, Pam, you need a couple of paper clips. And you really don't have to have 2 colors of markers, but it's kind of fun when you do, or 1 color, especially if your kids are playing remotely. So make sure that your kids have that. Now, first, as a teacher, I would either do what I'm about to do live. If I have my kids live in a Zoom or a Teams meeting or whatever, then I would totally play with them live a little bit. If I'm not doing that, so you're saving bandwidth, you're recording things, then I think you could record kind of what I'm about to do and send that to kids to just kind of introduce the game. So to introduce the game, again, it's sort of like a tic-tac-toe grid. I have a bunch of numbers. The idea is to get 4 in a row. And so partner number 1, let me move my markers real quick. Partner number 1 takes one of the paper clips and just randomly or maybe strategically chooses one of the factors. And so maybe I'll just put the paper clip. I can do it. I can't do it with one hand. So maybe strategically chooses, say, the factor 8. And I'm just randomly putting the paper clip on the 8. If I am partner number 1, I put it on the one. I pick randomly one of those factors. Wow, my camera's in and out. Sorry if I'm making you guys dizzy. And then it's the second person's turn. So now the second person says, where would I want to put my paper clip so that the product of wherever I put it and 8, I'm going to be able to claim that space sort of in a tic-tac-toe kind of way. So what could I choose? I don't know. I could choose maybe 4. Again, this is the second player sort of putting their paper clip on one of the factors. And so now the second player gets to claim the product of 8 times 4. So product of 8 times 4 used to be 32. I think it still might be. So then that player takes their marker, finds 32, and let's just say that that player is going to be X. And so now we have X on 32, and it is back to the first player. And so the first player now gets to say, I get to move one paperclip only. I get to move one paperclip. Where should I move my paperclip? So that maybe I block the first player. Maybe I try to get my 4 in a row. Sorry, I'm so totally crooked. What could I do and now they get to choose, and there's a little bit of strategy involved. So letting you guys think, where might you put your marker? You have to leave it on 8 or 4. You can only move one of them. Just reversed on your end. It reversed? Now they're telling me it's not reversed, and somebody says it is reversed. I hope it's not reversed. That'd be crazy because I didn't do anything to reverse it. Anyway, moving on. So what could you move? So you might look around and go, ooh, maybe I want to get that one. Could I? Or maybe I want to get the 30. Could I get the 30 by moving just one of those? Is 8 a factor of 30? Is 4 a factor of 30? So could I get the 28? Thank you for telling me it's fine, Kelly. Could I get the 28? Well, bam, right? Is that 7 times 4? So could that second player then say, I'm going to move this paperclip from 8 to 7. And so then the second player gets to put, I don't know, an O or whatever, however you're playing the game, on the 28. And it's back to the first player. So the rules of the game are you can only move one paperclip, and then you get to claim that space, and you're trying to get 4 in a row. You guys, this is one of the coolest ways for kids to work on multiplication facts, because as they think about, so now the markers are on 7 and 4. Again, you're going to have kids that are like, oh, I want to go there. That's so hard to do on my camera. I want to go there. And now they have to think, can I? Do I know? Is 4 a factor of 30? Is 7 a factor of 30? And if they're not, then they can't claim that. So what could they claim? And by doing that, they're asking themselves much richer questions than they ever ask when it's just a bunch of flashcards. They're getting a lot of practice with a lot of facts. And if they're playing with somebody, then they're getting a chance to sort of correct each other, right? They could say, hey, you can't go there. You can't move your paperclip there. Or if they move their paperclip, hey, that's not that product. And then they can sort of politely, we would want to talk about how to politely sort of check each other on their multiplication facts. Play this a little while with somebody, and y'all, there's some strategy that happens. You get to a point where people start like seeing 3 or 4 moves down the road. Well, but if I move there and get that one, then that will allow that one to get that, and then they don't want to let their partner get that. It's amazing the kind of strategy that can happen when you play the product game. So let's talk just a little bit about how you can use this low tech. If I was low tech and I was going to video this for my students at home, then I might video what I just did. Send that to them as the introduction, and then ask them to play with someone at home, pair them up with a partner in class and ask them to play. You might also ask them to play sort of a solitaire version, where literally they're changing colors for depending on who they are. And then they can sort of kind of see which move, if they play a few times, which is a really good first move, which is a really bad first move, because then it might allow your partner to do like more than you intend for them to be able to do. So you could sort of ask them some kind of solitaire questions. Another thing that you could do is, once you've got your kids, if you have your students in a live Zoom kind of a thing, then you can play teacher against the class. And that's one of my favorite ways to do it, especially in the beginning, because then the kids can really get an idea of how to play. Then you can just ask them to play, and then come back and talk about strategy. And again, play a teacher against the class after they've had a chance to play on their own. So highly recommend. This is an oldie but goodie, so you might have seen it before, but highly recommend. This is a really great way for parents to practice with their kids, for kids to practice their multiplication facts. Because of the strategy involved, you've got a chance for kids all over the map to join in. If I'm a kid that's really struggling with my multiplication facts, then I'm just sort of like working on multiplication facts, and I'm not thinking a lot about strategy. I've already got my multiplication facts down, like me. I still kind of find it fun because I'm thinking about strategy, and I'm looking 2 or 3 moves down the road. And so those are some hallmarks of what we find to be really powerful for kids as they're learning multiplication facts. So that was our sort of low tech solution for today to help kids work on multiplication facts. Let's talk about a slightly higher tech version. So give me just a second to have my tech. I got to think for a minute. I got to think. Let's do it this way. So I'm going to make this big on the screen. I'm going to show you what I would do with students first. In fact, I probably should have. Let me I'm going to show you what I would do with students first, and then I'm going to tell you, and then we're going to go behind the scenes, and we're going to sort of be a teacher. So if I was a teacher working with y'all, my students, then I might say, hey guys, here is this cool thing that we're going to do. And here's the beginning screen. Now, you as students won't see this blue top. I could do this in a slightly different way. I plan to do it this way because of the Facebook Live. If you're in a Zoom or in a Teams, you could actually just pull up a student version because you're not going to need to show them later the teacher version. I want to show you both tonight. So if you can ignore kind of the top part of my screen and just focus on this bottom part, this is what students are going to see. So let's work on some multiplication facts. Put together cards that match. And whatever you do, have fun while you do it. But here's a little hint, and I would want to make sure I go over this with students. Don't count the squares to determine what the dimensions of this blue rectangle are. Use the structure. What do I mean by structure, class? I mean that I've given you a 10 by 10 grid here. Excuse me. Yeah, 10 by 10 grid. And I've sort of split it into fives. And so when I look at this blue rectangle, I can think about the fact that I've got 2 under 5. Well, so that means that's a 3. See how I didn't just count those? I can glimpse that too, and I can think about that. Maybe I can glimpse the 3 and I can sabotage that amount. Either way, I'm not going to count those one by one. I'm going to encourage students to just sort of glance at it and know what's going on. And then similarly, we're not going to be able to sabotage 7, but we can sabotage this 2 and think about that 2 plus that 5, and bam, we've got 7. So now I have a 3 by 7. And then how about over here? Well, there's that 2 over 7. So I've got a 7 by, oh, look, it's just 1 under 5, a 7 by 4. So I want to really encourage students to think about the dimensions of the rectangles based on the structure of the cards. Okay, guys, then when you go to screen 2, when you see this at home, then you're going to see that I've given you some help on screen 2. You're going to see some cards floating around the screen, kind of like these 3 cards are floating around. And you can stick them together. You can drag them and they snap. They sort of snap together. And see, these 3 cards have been snapped together. Let me give you an example of that. So I'll go on to screen 3 and whoa, see how there's like cards everywhere? Well, this is what your students, this is when they get to be able to play a little bit. And so as they play a little bit, they might see this 40 and they might say, oh, what can I do? And you're going to see me look off to the side because I'm running it on my alternate monitor while you're looking at it on my front monitor. But you're going to see them sort of look at it and go, hey, what can I do with this 40? Well, I bet there's an array that has an area of 40 in here somewhere. And so let's get rid of that 21. Maybe I want to kind of move some things out of the way so I can kind of like have a staging area. And I might pull this over and I might say, ooh, what is that? Well, that looks like I filled that whole 5 by that whole 8. Hey, check it out. There's a 5 by 8. And watch when I drag it over. Can you see how it like turns like sort of bold? And there they are stuck together. And now those 2 guys are together. And what is the area of a 5 by 8? Well, sure enough, it's 40. And so I'll stick those guys together. And then notice that you can actually move them so that they're in different, well, you'd think I'm trying to get that guy there. So you can sort of change the order of those cards, but I'm going to kind of keep those 3 together. And then I would look at the other ones and I would say, well, what's that guy? And where's its equation, expression that represents the area? And then where's its area? So could you see how we could sort of lump those guys together and I could let you guys play with that? Shall we play a little bit? Now we'll play a little bit and then we'll get kind of to the more exciting part. This is fine. It's fine. It's not really exciting, but it's kind of cool. What I'd like you to do is, let me just think for just a second, is if you are interested, you can either you can go to student.desmos.com. So you sort of follow directions and type in this code, or y'all, I'm going to put that in the chat or in the comments. So in the comments, you can tell I've been on Zoom lately. In the comments, I just put the link. If you click on that link, you'll go straight to the student activity. So either way, student.desmos.com, type in that code, or easier, and the way that I usually like to do it is to I copied that link and I stuck that in the comments. So y'all, if you're working with your students on Zoom or on Teams, or if you're creating a website, maybe you're in Google Classroom where you're putting links for students to follow, you just put this link, that link that you see right here. I literally just hit copy and then I stuck that over there, and you can just totally give that to your students and up will pop the screen that I've been looking at. Now, what's extra ultra cool is as you guys do that, I can begin to see you log on because I can look at my student view or my teacher view. Check it out. There you guys are. Can you guys see you logging in? You're logging in right now and I can watch you log in. You guys, this is so cool. And I can also tell people who have like an account because Holly, and hopefully Holly doesn't mind. She's a good friend of mine on my team, actually. If you're logged into Desmos, then it will sort of give your logged in Desmos name. So maybe I should anonymize everybody because we do have people putting their names in there. So check it out. When I hit anonymize right there, that sort of turns you all into famous mathematicians. You might notice Albert Einstein, Ada Lovelace. These are all mathematicians that I've sort of anonymized your names. And I can see you kind of join in our task. Now, a lot of you guys are in that first screen. Ooh, look, some of you guys, can you guys tell? 4 of you are on that third screen where we just were. Let's get everybody over there. After you've logged in, get over on that third screen and stick some of those cards together. I'll go back up and click on my teacher view. And then, oh, look, there I can see kind of what all of you guys are doing. And I've clicked on the third screen. So I'm seeing the kinds of things you guys are doing on the third screen. So I could click on Albert Einstein. And we don't know who Albert Einstein is, but check it out. Albert Einstein, you go. Like, look at Albert Einstein has already stuck all those guys together. Now, again, you're looking at sort of my view. Let me show you what I would do with students. So students would be seeing what you're seeing on your device. Something that looks like, in fact, let me actually get into a student view. We'll go to, well, yeah, and I got to be on the right computer. And so I'm actually looking, we sort of have this live view of what Xing Chen is doing, or Chen is doing right now. And interesting, I can actually, if I'm on my right monitor, I can actually interact with this screen. Here's the thing to know. When I interact with this person, this student screen, it does not change theirs. So I could actually use this to sort of talk about, hey, what can I do with this one? What are the dimensions of that one? And I could pull up the 36 to belong with it. That's now not changing that student's input. All right, you guys are like playing, you're going. I'm gonna go look and see what you guys are doing. Here's a fun thing that I can do. So almost all of you are still in 3, but check it out. Somebody's snuck over to 4 and 5. I even have one person all the way over to 7. It's okay. Let's say that I'm on a live Zoom, I'm on a Teams with my students, and I want to gain control again. Watch what I can do here. I can hit pause. Bam! Now, in a second, all of you guys are going to look up and you're going to go, hey, what'd you do? Hey, let us play some more. It is one of the coolest things ever that can happen when you're live in a class or live in a Zoom. You could also do it remotely, though I don't know that I find, if you're doing it not synchronously, I'm not sure I find how that would be helpful. So I'll go ahead and unpause it so you guys can play some more. And then let's sort of talk about the other screens. So what if we were to look at screen 4? So on screen 4, it now gives you some instructions for the next couple screens, like when you see the array and the expression and the product on the next screen, now you're not only going to put those 3 together like I have on this screen. You'll notice that I have a 5x7 and 35 all stuck together, but I also am giving you the instructions to make a 6x7. And so you're going to go look to find another array with its accompanying expression and area that I could stick together. Could I put a 5x7 together with a 1x7? And could that make a 6x7, which is going to be the goal for our next screen? Whoa. And so your goal for the next screen is to help kids sort of feel some of the most important relationships that kids can use to find some of the most missed facts. So I'm going to go ahead and jump ahead to, I want to go back here. Oh, actually, I'll go here and I want to just like glance at somebody's 5. And I'm going to glance at somebody who hasn't done very much. So looking at the screen 5, and we're just looking at a particular student's version, notice how they're all over the place. And I want to move these now to snap together, but not just in a way where I've put the array, the rectangle, together with its dimensions, together with its area, but those 3 cards also together with another array that would make, for slide 5, would make a 6x7. And then similarly, if we were to go look at slide 6, now we're going to make we're going to put cards together that make a 7x8. And when you look at slide 7, we're going to have different combinations to make 7 times 8. Why did I choose 6 times 7 and 7 times 8? Y'all know, if you guys are elementary teachers, those are some of our most missed facts, right? Some of our most missed facts are absolutely those guys. I wonder if you're even paying attention to me or if you guys are just completely playing on. So if you look at my screen, glance at my screen for just a second. I can tell right now that Alicia is totally paying attention, is not paying attention. She might be paying. I mean, she's an adult, but notice how she's working. Whereas Michael's like, he's listening, right? He's listening to me. Gregory's over there. He's playing. Fan Chung down here is messing around. Now, again, you guys can probably do two things at once, but can you see how as a teacher with remote learning, I now have a feel for students who are engaged and who aren't. If I were to say, hey guys, go and work on slide 5, well, now I can peek in on these guys' slide 5. I can go look at Fan Chung and I can go, well, check it out. He's put a 1x7. I'm assuming actually that Fan Chung is a he. I should know my mathematicians better. As assuming that this 1x7 has an area of 7. Oh, sure enough. All right, I'm feeling pretty good about that. Oh, look over here. Look, this person has got that 7 and 1x7 together. Oh, and then I'm going to like wonder a little bit because does this have an area of 7? Absolutely. Is that a 1x7? How do we usually call the dimensions of a rectangle? We usually call the number of rows by the number of columns. So typically we would call this a 7 number of rows by 1 number of columns. Now, am I going to mark that wrong? No, I'm not going to mark that wrong, but I'm going to note it. And so maybe if that's a big deal for me as a teacher, I might want to like help kids think about that a little bit. And we could sort of bring it up here by looking at students' work. And I can be kind of watching what students are doing. It's a way for me remotely to kind of hang on to students' progress. And I can visit individual students. Let's visit another individual student. It looks like this Apollonius. I can do it. Apollonius. It's got lots of stuff going on. And so I might join into Apollonius' screen. I just clicked on it. And then I might, and I just realized I'm not where I want to be to do what I was going to say. So hang on just a second. I think I want to go here. And let's go to Apollonius. Where did Apollonius go? No, I think I should have been able to do it from here. How come that didn't work? I want to go here. Apollonius, you go. Well, phooey, I hate it when stuff happens live that I'm not making sense of. Let me let you play for a moment. Yes, let's do that. Y'all play for a minute. Feel free to go on to slide 6. Feel free to go on to slide 7. And I'm going to remind myself where I'm looking for. Oh, I found it. I'm silly. So I'm looking at Grigori, and I'm looking at Grigori's screen. So look up for just a second. On my screen, can you see how I'm hovering over this sort of message? It's kind of small for you guys. It's probably a little blob on your screen. But when I hover over that, there's a little thing that comes up. It's called lesson feedback. And so I can actually click on that right now, and I can say to Grigori, great job. You are working hard. Woo! And whoops. Hard. And I can send that to him, her, while they're working right now. And if that student is signed in, then they'll be able to see that feedback the next time they come in. So a lot of you guys, when you just logged in, you decided not to log in with an account. Totally, I get that. But ideally, you would have your students, if you'll have to sort of work on this and the culture and making sure you have permission with parents. But if your students can get an account, then that feedback will be there the next time they log in. Now, when they're logged in right now, Grigori right now can see that feedback. So I can give lesson feedback to that student as we're sort of working in, especially if you're in remote. Can you guys see how if you're working with students remotely, how this could be a way for you to get a handle? So you might look at Jacob down here, Jacob Steiner, and you might be like, dude, Jacob, you're not doing any work. Like you haven't even started. So I could go into Jacob's work, double click on Jacob, and I could give lesson feedback to Jacob and say, are you, whoops, and I just clicked out of it. Are you, whoa, what is happening? Are you, okay, my computer's being funny and I'm not sure why. Struggling, right? And or do you need help? Or I noticed that you were trying to, like whatever it is that you could ask, would you like some help now in a positive way? I'm not actually loving, are you struggling? I'm thinking, want a hint? That's a positive way, right? Or do you need some extra time? Or Jacob, do you want to meet with me later? Like whatever it is, I could sort of give some feedback kind of remotely as we're working. All right, so let me get you guys to maybe not play as much as you are. So sort of take a look at my screen. So some things that you want to know about. I'm actually going to back out of this just a little bit. So when I go to the link that we're going to put. In fact, I'll put it right now as a banner. So if you go to this link right now, Desmos Bolt, that will get you into the teacher task. So you're now on my screen, you're looking at the teacher task that I made that you will want to make as a teacher. And so you'll want to go into this. When you do, you won't see this bit right here because you will not have yet created a class code. Oh, by the way, in the download for tonight, I totally give you instructions about how to do this. So it tells you where to go and the link and all the things. We'll give you that download in just a sec. So if you go to mathisfreeable.com/Desmos, then this is Desmos. It's a Desmos card sort that we're using tonight. You create a class code. When you do that, this appears. So the class code shows up right here. I'm going to go ahead and click down here where it says View Dashboard. So View Dashboard, I click on that, and now I'm where I've been This first thing that come up is the screen that I would give to students. So either students go to desmos.com and type in the code, or that's where I get the link. When I X out of that, then you'll notice that I'm in the screens that I was in before. So I can have this summary screen where I can kind of see what's happening, what students have been to, what they haven't been to yet, which ones that the dot says which ones they're working on currently. You can see that the dot here says that they've finished these. And then I can click over into the teacher tab. And this is sort of where I can sort of scroll through these individual screens and kind of see what's happening. You'll notice that I can also see how many people are in each of the screens. I now have 3 people that are over in screen 7 that are checking out screen 7. So we could go look over there and say, hey, check it out. Who's in screen 7? What's happening in screen 7? Way to go, guys. Way to work on that. And notice that I could look at sort of Ada Lovelace, and we could kind of look at a sample solution to that particular screen. And then we could talk about it. I'm a little bit running out of time because I wanted to make this short enough tonight that people could watch it and not get too lost. So I'll just mention a couple of other things briefly. In student view, I could kind of sort of see the preview of what students will get on each of these screens. And then in this snapshot, if I take a picture of someone's screen, so literally what I did earlier today was I had a couple friends get on, and I took a screenshot of what I was seeing in their student view. And then I just I could grab these and I could put them. So I entered the screen. So I added photos and put the screenshots in there. And then I could hit this present button and I could say, hey, let's take a look at this collection that I've made. And what's different about what this person did than what this person did? What's the same? What's different? And now we'd have a class conversation about what different students are doing and why they might be doing them. So running a little bit out of time, so I'm not going to do too much more on that. So this, y'all, is a Desmos activity that I created in which I stuck some Desmos card sorts. So I literally created it. If you find a typo, let me know. Coming up in the next few days, week maybe, we're going to hopefully add a few more. The screen 5, 6, and 7 have 6 times 7 and 7 times 8. We should add what? 9 times 7, 6 times 9. We should add some more of the most missed facts. So we can make that happen as we go. Y'all, thanks for joining me on tonight's Facebook Live. We give you kind of a couple of solutions for teaching multiplication facts remotely. One of them was really low tech, where you can play a really, really cool game called the Product Game. Totally in the download that I'm about to give you the link for. Where is the link? Oh, I might just put that in the chat. No, you know what? I think I gave you the wrong link before. Oh, I think this one gives you the download. So if you've already downloaded it and you're already thinking, Pam, that was the download. That's not the link to the teacher activity. But the download has the link and the instructions to get to the teacher activity, which is sort of why I thought about that. Y'all, if I could just get you for another minute, let me tell you some other free things that you can do. We're going to have another Facebook Live on multiplication coming up Thursday. We'll have another one the next Tuesday. So 2 more Facebook Lives. If you missed the last Facebook Live where we introduced some ideas about thinking about multiplication with students remotely, you can totally check out my YouTube channel where you can find the other one. Just look up Facebook Lives on Figuring Math. That's my YouTube channel. Honestly, if you just Google Pam Harris Math, the YouTube channel will come up. You can totally see that. So a couple more Facebook Lives. But let me announce to you that I am doing a free webinar coming up. You guys, this free webinar, you are not going to want to miss. If you teach multiplication or you teach to kids who you wish knew multiplication, you are going to want to join this free webinar. So it's coming up a week from Saturday. It's on September 4th on Friday, September 5th on Saturday. If you'll go to that webinar 20, it will tell you more about it. In fact, let me head over there and I'll share my screen with you one more time. So you can see, if you go to the top 5 multiplication, that link that you've got right there, mathisforgettable.com/webinar20, you'll get to this top 5 multiplication strategies you and your students need to know. And if you scroll down a little bit, you can see where you can register for either the September 4th one at 7 p.m. Central or the September 5th one at 11 a.m. Central. Love to have you there. All you have to do is register. You might say, Pam, I can't make it either of those times. Totally register, because then we'll send you the link to the webinar and you can watch it at your leisure. So I'm really excited about this webinar. I think I'm really going to share some important things about multiplication and working remotely to help students with multiplication, even more than tonight's Facebook Live. I really appreciate you guys joining in tonight. Thanks so much. I'll go look and see at the comments really fast and see. Kate already registered. Thanks. Woo! We'll see you then. That's absolutely fantastic. Thanks so much for joining me tonight. I'm up against a little bit of a hard deadline that I have to run to another event, but really appreciate you guys joining me tonight. Sign up for that webinar. Join me in one of those other 2 Facebook Lives. And remember, math is figure outable. Bye, everybody.